The van driver fails to yield, turns in front of oncoming traffic, causing a T-bone collision, which moments later resulted in the van being flipped over. Thankfully, both drivers were okay. The semi-truck driver failed to stop at the stop sign and blew past it, causing the camera to T-bone him. The camera's car was totaled, unfortunately, but thankfully, and most importantly, the camera suffered no serious injuries. The Toyota driver was in a left turn only lane. When the light turned green, they tried to illegally merge into the next lane and ended up colliding with the camera. The Toyota driver was found at total fault. It's unclear who was at fault. Notice that the camera's light turns green about 10 seconds after the collision, and the oncoming traffic doesn't enter the junction until the light is green. That suggests that the cops arrived at a red. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts down below. The Elantra driver was driving in a lane reserved for buses and taxis. There were many signs, but the Elantra driver ignored them. The Karma Cop showed them the price of ignoring such signage.
Manual recording will now start.
The cyclist failed to properly yield and rammed into the car. Thankfully, the cyclist was okay as they were able to get up and bike away. Always look prior to proceeding. The Pontiac driver swerved around the van at the stop sign and blew past the stop sign, then subsequently slamming into oncoming traffic on the highway. The Pontiac driver was found at total fault. After the road changes from one lane to two, the Chrysler driver force merged himself into the camera's lane, causing an accident. The Chrysler driver would be found at fault. The GMC driver blindly reverses in the mechanic's parking lot and hits the sedan. He damages the car and claims that the sedan driver is at fault. He later said that he'd pay for the damages and the mechanics vouched for him that he would, but eventually he ended up not paying anything. The sedan driver blindly pulled out. The camera did the best they could to avoid the crash. The sedan driver lied and tried to say that it was the camera's fault, but the dashcam footage saved the day, as it always does. The officer ran a red light, slamming into the PT Cruiser, causing it to flip. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office is supposedly conducting an investigation on this, but we've yet to hear anything. So in this instance, both drivers ended up getting charged with several offenses. The camera had all his charges dropped. The white Volkswagen driver had all the charges still and had his insurance cover all the expenses. The camera admits he was paying attention more to his passengers than the road and looked too late, causing the collision. This is a great example as to how a small distraction can easily cause an accident. The driver behind the camera was distracted and was therefore not paying attention to what was ahead of them, resulting in the rear-end collision. The red SUV driver was not paying attention to oncoming traffic and sideswiped the Dodge Charger. The camera pulled over and exchanged information in case the dashcam footage was needed. The camera says this is why you shouldn't drive with bald tires. A sudden encounter caused him to lose control of his car and spin out. Thankfully, he didn't crash and no one was hit. The camera witnessed a reckless Honda driver squeeze through the safety lines as he sped. He then clipped a truck and drove off. The truck driver didn't seem to care at all. The camera had a green light, whereas the other driver ran a red, causing the camera to hit them. The other driver admitted that they were wrong and handed over their insurance information.